well, welcome back to the channel. This is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is, of course, Conversations with the Crawleys, where we have conversations about faith, family, relationships, and recaps, reviews, commentary on some of our favorite TV shows. This one is all about Ready to Love, Potomac / DC. So if this is content that you enjoy, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like, request notifications.
And share.
And of course, we will see you in the comments. All right. So it's the getaway episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's that episode where all cards are laid out on the table.
Right.
Right.
Who's eyeing who?
Who connecting with who? Right. And so Clifton is the first one to arrive.
Right. He gets there first. He finds his bed. He puts his bag, claiming his territory.
Then Dakia gets out the Uber.
She said, "Get out the Uber."
Because they all took an Uber up there. Because they all arrived too close to each other. So I don't know if they took an Uber or all rode with Clifton, but Dakia arrives next.
Right. And so she's like looking at rooms. Oh, there's so many rooms. And she picks a room.
Mm-hmm. And then Joy shows up.
And Joy's like, "Where's Clifton's room? Because that's where I'm staying. I am staying with Clifton. Yeah. You didn't know? I am staking my claim and putting my bag where Clifton's
right next to Clifton's bag on that bed." And she was like, "I am not ashamed of it. This is where I'm sleeping."
She's like, "My game is tight."
So then Sabrina comes in. It's like, "Oh, we sharing beds?"
Oh, she's like, "Oh, we only got a couple rooms? That's what's going on?"
So Clifton starts sweating because he's like, "Okay, I got Dakia right here. I don't know how this gonna work." He started.
And Sabrina,
because he had seen the bag on there, he ain't say nothing.
Right? He's like, "Whose bag?" Okay.
He's like, "Let me figure this out." But then when Sabrina asked, he was like, "I don't know nothing about that.
I don't know about that bag. I brought one bag for myself. I don't know. Maybe it's the cameraman's bag. It's the cameraman's bag."
The cameraman better not be sleeping in my bed. Shit. That's Clifton ain't going that far. All right, so everybody else starts showing up.
Right.
Tommy, does his what was it, Mr. Deeds?
Oh, Mr. Deeds.
Yeah, where the guy just shows up out of nowhere. So he just shows up and says that Tina's having car trouble.
Yeah, Tina got car trouble.
Okay. But he says that one man is going home after the first day, basically.
Right.
The next morning.
Right.
So that's everybody now. It's like, look.
Let me tighten up doing these connections. Let me talk.
Tighten what needs to be tightened, loosen what needs to be loosened, let go what needs to be let go, and solidify what needs to be solidified. You need to do it all in the next 24, 45 hours.
Right. And we see Tori, right? He talks to Demetrius. Mm-hmm. And I feel like for Tori, he is a stand-up guy. I get that impression, right? Because he doesn't have to talk to Demetrius.
True.
But he's like, I'm trying to see where this connection is with Sabrina and who's connected with who. Mm-hmm. So I know how I'm going to move, pretty much. So they have this conversation, and everybody's still up in the air about what they're planning to do and who they have connections with. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, because he basically was like, look, after that whole truth or dare, he's like, I checked out. Right. She put her lips all over you. I was like...
He put lips on her.
He's like, and then I'm seeing googly eyes with you. I'm seeing googly eyes with Donovan. I don't know where I am, and I'm just not going to sit here and play the third fiddle to all of this, right? I'm not a third string brother.
Right. Right.
Because Sabrina basically sent him back down to the G League.
Pretty much.
She was like, look.
It's like, you need to work on your game.
Right. So... Sabrina then, talks about her concerns that she has with Demetrius and Donovan. Right. That those are her top two right now.
Right.
And so she begins to have what I would call a red flag conversation with Donovan. Right. Just to kind of maybe allay some of her fears because they're both divorced.
Correct.
So she asked the question about how long has he been single. About 3-4 days.
No, he said 3 or 4 months. But he said he'd been in a couple relationships.
Yeah.
How a couple relationships and you've been, and so I'm trying to figure out, was he separated for a while?
True. Possibly.
And was dating in between that, knowing that the divorce is going to be finalized, which I don't know if I would do that, but it's just like this timeline is not adding up.
So she's concerned that he has not had time to process, which
Right.
I can definitely
agree.
give the validity of that. That's a valid statement
That's
and
a
concern.
valid statement because to me, not only do you need to process, how do you want to move with you having kids?
Hmm.
Are the kids with you full time and go to the
Hmm.
mother, and really figuring out what made your relationship not work
Right.
and why are you so ready to get back into
Right.
another relationship?
Because, taking stock, because no matter what, right, in most, even when a marriage fails, typically,
Mm-hmm.
unless there's, some extremes there, but typically there's some things that both sides can learn and take
Mm-hmm.
away from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to learn, what is it that I excelled in?
Mm-hmm.
What were the areas that I need to come up in?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, 3 to 4 months may not be that time frame
Mm-hmm.
to accurately assess that. So
Right.
we'll see.
Let's see.
Paul, man, been sticking it. Paul is like staying in here. I think one of the persons in the comments like, "How's Uncle Paul still staying around?" Listen,
He making moves when he needs to make moves.
Paul is like, "Look,
And
I'm
then
gonna
he's
move
in the
around."
background when he needs to be in the background. So, hey,
So he's like, "Well, look, Tina is having car trouble. Her car got repossessed." So
shut up.
I'm joking. I don't know what happened to her car, but she ain't there. But he's trying to see what's up with Carmen and Dakia because he's like, I can't continue to chase after something that's not there.
Right. And so I need to solidify what I have or see if a stronger connection could be made.
Right.
And Carmen's trying to make connection with him while he's making connection with his salad.
Right. Brumman is trying to eat his salad. He's like, look, these greens are looking really good. You're looking great over there, but I'm really focused on these greens. And she's rubbing his head. She's trying to flirt with him. And he's like,
I'm eating these croutons and everything.
And you brought it up, and I'm a echo that. I don't know. Granted, we've been married for a long time, but I don't know about flirting when I'm trying to, when we're trying to eat or what have you. There's a way to do it, but she's like, it's not like she's eating. She's sitting there watching him eat, rubbing his head,
and talking to him. He trying to eat and talk to her. So I'm like,
was just awkward.
I was really confused about why are we. I can see you want to be close to him and let him eat, and and you're trying to make small talk. But it's like you rubbing my head and I'm trying to eat. It was a lot. I felt like was going on.
It was a lot. But Carmen recognizes, she's like, look, she's got to decide between Paul and Donovan.
Mm-hmm.
And she does make the statement that Paul is losing ground.
Yeah, she's not feeling that he's wanting to give her all that attention.
Yeah.
So.
So Clifton and Dakia have a conversation.
Correct.
And she is like, based upon their conversations and how they've been vibing, she's thinking that she's still in the running. However, when she sees the bag on the bed, she's like, I was a little put off.
Right. And so she's bringing them out and hinting around the fact, wanting him to mention it.
To at least address it, right?
To address it. And he like, yeah, so the forest looks nice. Glad this breeze is coming by because I really need a breeze right now to come by, cool me down here because it's a lot going on when you're trying to deal with two women under the same household in 44 hours and not make the other woman feel like I'm not liking them or feeling them while I'm really feeling and liking the other one. Right. So
he basically just went all the way around that. He was like, I am dodging that conversation.
Yeah.
Completely.
Right. And she's like, so that's what we're going to do? Mm-hmm. We're not going to address, the elephant in the room. So, or the onesie in the room.
Right.
So we're not.
Yeah.
We're not addressing this. So she's just left it as that,
She's going to leave it as it is, right?
Right.
Donovan and Joy have a conversation.
Right.
And Joy, as we know, is locked in on Clifton. Correct. She's become, in my opinion, she's almost like the sister to all the other guys. Correct. She's kind of like the great wingman to help them figure out where they are.
Right. And she's trying to find the tea.
Right.
She's like, so where you are?
Right.
How's your connections going?
So yeah, she's trying to dig into it.
How you gonna maneuver this weekend? Do you need some help? You want me to distract one while you're with the other one?
Right. Joy is playing a perfect wing woman right now. She's like, look, I'll jump in where I need to jump in. And then Carmen comes through.
Right. Excuse me. If this is not your territory, why are you here?
Right. You all on Clifton.
That's
you don't look
man.
like Clifton. Go ahead and push on.
You got a bag over there, so go. You got a bag over there, so you go ahead with where your bag is.
So, and Carmen does say that one of the things she wants is she wants leadership on who wants her. In other words, she's the thing that about Carmen is that Carmen, because of career, she is very headstrong, very
outgoing. So she's she's an outgoing person, but I feel like sometimes when we put on a lot to feel like she's trying to reel in the fish.
Mm-hmm.
So you got this hook and you got that lure.
Yeah.
And it got all the colors and stuff on it, and it kind of moves around and stuff.
Got the blue eyes on it.
Get the blue eyes on it, and you trying to reel in the fish. She's trying to reel them in.
Yeah, you've been throwing out bait.
She's been throwing out heavy bait. There's 2 or 3 fat worms on there. So
yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone.
So with that being the case, who gonna get caught on the hook? Right. Is the question.
Because she's basically like, look, I want to know who wants me.
Right.
It's kind of what she's going after.
And that makes sense. You don't want to be putting a lot of effort in somebody who's not really interested in you.
Right.
So, but you don't want to give more effort than the other person. Because I think sometimes that can be a turn on for man if it's just a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
So
then all the fellas are starting to talk. Donovan kind of sparks up the conversation because he's tried to reach out to Tina. Multiple times it looks like, and the ladies of course are there, but they're like are having a separate conversation. They're like, well, look, I ain't checking for Tina. Great girl, hope she's okay, but it don't matter to me. It's
my connections are here.
It's just one less person I gotta worry about.
Right.
But the guys are starting to be like, you know what? She's not really connecting. She's not really here.
She's not in the process.
Great person, but she's not here.
Right.
Tori's like, I'm not feeling her vibe. And so that's just one less person for Tori. Because Tori is, he not having really any luck right now.
Yeah. And I think it's unfortunate, right? I think it's just like, it's like a two-edged sword. Because I think for Sabrina and Tori, like Sabrina has someone who was really into her. And it's like, well, because he's not letting me do this process, then I'm gonna move on. Because at least she's the type of person like I really want to not to be stuck on one person.
Right.
And that's where people fall in that trap.
And I think that's where Tori fell into the trap. We can talk about it now. But Tori fell into the trap with that whole thing because once he was confronted with the fact that Sabrina had another connection and it was visible and in his face.
Right.
He checked out from there.
Right.
Rather than saying, you know what, I'm going to just keep pursuing, keep seeing what's there.
Right.
And I know the process is set up for us to see other people. So he didn't do that. Sabrina also talks about how she's feeling insecure about her standing with Demetrius.
Right. And he's like, where'd that come from?
The deacon is like, look, I've been good with you.
I haven't seen him really with anybody else.
There is, I don't think Tina, right?
Oh yes,
but
but Tina ain't showing up.
Tina's not showing up.
Right.
So Elder Demetrius is I think someone put in the comments, Elder Demetrius of First Baptist of New Haven Church of God, blessing the people in Christ denomination. So
he is willing and available.
But she's worried about that connection, and he's like, I don't get it.
Right. And I'm like, don't try to play the coy little girl now.
Right.
If you're going to say you're going to be the woman and you can stand on your own and you don't want to be dominated,
right?
Then let's just go ahead and play for it.
Do what you got to do.
Hey, this is my chair. I'm sitting right here. Well, if you didn't notice, when they sat down for dinner, Carmen got Donovan's plate and brought it to the table.
She did.
So
she did.
She's making herself like, look, I'm going to let you know how I treat a man.
So Sabrina and Tori do finally have a conversation, right? And basically they're both like, it's been a while since they talked, since the truth or dare. And she's at this point, she's like, there's no romantic connection.
Right. We're friends.
We're friends.
Friend zone.
She's like, I want the best for you. And he's like, well, you got options. So you're going to find the best somewhere in there.
You're going to find the best for yourself.
Somewhere.
Well, I find the best back in D.C.
Right. So, it's the evening time, and then Clifton and Joy come out in their onesies.
Yeah, because she's like, it's time for pajama time,
Yeah,
PJ time.
It's an adult nighttime.
It's adult.
So they break out with onesies, and the kid's like,
oh, so y'all matching.
Okay.
He's the farmer and you're the animal? Oh, okay. Because he has like a farmer,
yep.
And she has a little squirrel onesie.
Yep.
And they just a hopping and a jumping and a woo woo. I'm like, okay. So this is a party of two?
Yep.
And y'all are entertainment for tonight?
Because nobody else got that memo.
No, it was onesie night.
It was not like, so it would have been, it would have been understandable if they had said, hey, as you know, we're all there. Let's make it a fun time.
Yeah.
Bring out the onesie. Let's just
everybody get a onesie or whatever.
Right. Nah, it was just a text between Clifton and Joy.
And they ran with it.
They ran full force with it.
And the kid was like, "Oh, really? That's what we're doing? That's what we're doing. Okay, y'all do that."
And so then after that, everybody goes to bed.
Yep.
Clifton wakes up and he's like, it's a beautiful day in Zamunda. He's like, look, I feel like it's Christmas in Zamunda, waking up next to Joy. They running around and, bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Donovan again tries to reach out to Tina. He's consistent and persistent.
At least he tried. Because last night would have been the last time. I'm assuming if you didn't text me back and call me when someone is stating that your car broke down, and I get no courtesy, you're good.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If for the last few days you've been moving real distant in the first place, we're not that close where I've got to check on you.
Right.
And I've got to make sure you're okay.
Right.
Because I'm assuming, one, if you're not calling me back, you don't want to.
Right.
Or if you're incapacitated or something of that nature, I'm not high on the priority list for one of your family members to call me back and say, hey, just to give you a heads up, Tina's been in a serious accident.
Right.
So at that point, either way, there's no need for me to keep calling.
I'm like this. If you can call petty or not, like you stop calling. I reached out. And my understanding, because you did communicate with someone, that your car was just...
You're having car issues.
You were having car issues. Your car broke down. So that didn't mean anything with your mental capacity. Right. You weren't in a coma somewhere.
Right.
You had the ability to communicate with somebody, which still wasn't me.
And here's the thing. I'm pretty sure production would have probably been like, oh, your car's in the shop. We'll get you up there.
Or something,
and we'll find a way to get you up there,
or get a producer to come down and get you,
right? And then we'll get you can ride back with one of the other folks,
right?
There would have been some way if there was a car issue where it was the cars in the shop overnight, what have you. I'm sure that there still would have been a way that they would have gotten her up there.
But again,
if she wanted to be there,
she decided not to communicate.
Absolutely.
Or she could have just texted them saying, "Hey, I'm really tired. By the time I got everything situated with my car, it didn't make sense for me to even come up there.
Right.
But I appreciate you reaching out." That's all that takes.
All right.
A couple characters.
Well,
so
Donovan wasn't worth it.
Hey.
Paul wasn't worth it.
Hey.
Tommy wasn't worth it.
So. We keep it moving because he sure did have to ask about her.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So then Joy and Clifton are having a conversation, and she's confident, I believe, where she's at, but she's just kind of checking in again because she recognizes that he does have
another connection. Well, she's pretty much like, so did you tell the other girl she can get the step?
She can bounce.
But you can tell Joey's like, and her feelings is involved.
Right.
So it's like, so what are you doing? Because you do have someone out there that you're saying you're connected with.
Right.
So tell me, is it me? Because I know it's you.
Right.
So why are we playing games like you got two connections? Did someone pay you extra to hold on to one? Like, what's going on?
Right. And
Joy just kind of like, oh, so this is what we're doing? Because again, he's like, I don't know. Maybe. Because to me, I don't know. I feel like when a man knows, he knows. And if he has doubts, that means it's not every cylinder.
Well, do you think that it's that, or do you think that it is just the process and not wanting to hurt someone? Because I
You're gonna hurt someone no matter what.
True.
So, are you saying he's not willing to come forth and having conflict?
It's possible.
Because this would be a perfect time. Everyone else is seeing you connected.
Yep.
So, if it cracks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it's a duck.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out why this duck doesn't want to tell all the geese that he's connected to a duck.
You mixing birds.
I'm doing it on purpose.
I get what you're saying.
I'm doing that on purpose.
But yeah, this gander is trying to figure out which geese you want.
No, he a duck. Because he's ducking to tell the truth. So he a duck with a duck. Because he sound like a duck, he acting like a duck. But there's a geese out there.
All right, I'm going to let that ride. I was trying to help you out, but okay, I got. When you went to the duck and it was like he ducking, I was like, okay, I got you. But then we mixing duck and geese. All right, as long as there's no penguins and pelicans in there.
Listen.
All right.
I'm just trying to figure out.
I got you.
Why he ain't moving forward.
I got you.
Why he ain't solidifying.
Okay. Moving along, Sabrina then comes in and it's like,
you okay, girl? Where's the tissue? I'm gonna go get some ice cream for us.
Clifton and Joy, they went off together.
Into the sun.
And the girl's like, yeah.
She's like, I'm good, girl. I just wish he would have told me.
Right.
Let me know you was gonna wear matching onesies.
Right.
It could have been the three of us.
That would have been awkward. That would have been really awkward. All right. So then Dakia and Paul. Paul trying to throw some game. I'm gonna give Paul a little credit. He throwing a little game. Paul has upped his game from he was the PO, the post office, because he always delivered. He done upped his game from that to he's like, look, you kind of the total package there, Dakia. And she's like, oh.
Only thing he needed was to pull out his phone and put on some Barry White on top of it. Real love. So, baby, this is what I'm...
Paul might be trying to sing and rap his way into her heart himself.
Give a little poetry.
But he was laying it on her. And he was like, look, I'm forgetting about Tina. He's all about Dakia right now. Mm-hmm. It seems like he's more... And I'll say this. I think that there's a good connection with him and Dakia.
Yeah.
I think that's a good fit.
It's a decent connection.
Yeah.
And I feel like what he's saying he's looking for, right? He wants to come home with someone and he's not intimidated that maybe she might be more serious.
Right.
Than some of the other women, saying that she's a strong Black woman and that's not a bad thing, right? Because I feel like there's a side where she can really kind of, take her hair down, really be herself. But I think
and a lot of the guys have said that about her is that the way she is, maybe professionally, they experience a different side when it's just kind of a one-on-one type of thing.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Because again, you're on a show. You always want to present your best self as well. So I think it'd be fine. Yeah.
And she calls him a breath of fresh air. So for her, I think it's good that there's still someone else that is interested in her, not like, there's someone else that's interested in her and approaching her, because for a while it was like she was locked in here and there. But now Paul is a little different than what she's been experiencing. Tommy shows up and still no Tina.
Nope. And he asks.
He did.
And he's like, okay.
Right.
He's like, I'll deal with that when I get back.
I'll call her up. I'll stop by.
Like, I'll pick her up and bring her back in my Rolls Royce.
So the ladies are having their breakdown, their conversation as far as things. Yeah. Joy's like, I don't care what y'all do, just nobody mess with Clifton.
Okay.
Don't mess with Clifton. I will ski-wee all over you. Because y'all notice her bag was pink and green. I think she had alpha. She had AKA.
AKA.
Not an alpha, but an AKA.
Right.
So basically, long story short, you got two in the bottom. And Sabrina calls up Tori and Paul in the bottom two.
Mm.
So they leave it as a cliffhanger.
Yeah, but then it turns out not to be a cliffhanger.
But then in the preview for next week, you see Paul sitting right there having a conversation.
Right.
So Tori really has no connections at this point.
And we knew that, right?
Yeah.
We knew it was going to be him.
I mean, unless something... Now, last season, who was it? Brahman who pulled out the massage oil with Alicia, whatever her name is.
Oh, you talking about Dante?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, he pulled out something last minute last year when they went away. So Tori had but there was no one really for Tori to kind of pull that out last minute with. So Tori, even though the show didn't show it, Tori's gone.
Yep.
I'm pretty much 100% convinced of that. And then next week we continue still at the getaway. Tina looks like she does show up.
When they're about to leave.
Right. They're about to head out the door. They cleaning up. And Tina walk in. I think I missed everything. Yeah, girl, you missed it all.
You might as well stay at home by now. Gas is too high to show up last minute.
Okay.
And when we're about to close down, so.
And then we see it looks like there's going to be a little conflict between Carmen and Dakia.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's going to center around real versus fake, authentic versus plastic. So we'll see how that plays out. But listen, that's it for this recap. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what we might have missed. And we'll definitely see you next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Peace.